So I was going to cover about the Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest synopsis, but here's something that was just came out right now as I was talking, and I was like, let's just get on that. And this is why you always trust the official release more than you do the fan one, which is Chapter 5 of the Zero has finally come out, and the people who want to know, because I know it's going to be the first thing, a lot of you people are asking, where can I get it? Where can I read it? Crunchyroll. Just straight out there. Chapter 5 is out on there. All cleanly translated, everything for your reading pleasure, and all I've got to say is enjoy, because boy is this chapter fucking weird. Excuse my language, but it is just straight up weird, especially with the color page announcing when we got a new girl with spoilers. So let's just go take this chapter bit by bit, because wow, we've got some stuff to go in with. I guess the technical first arc of the series, which is going to be like the Noma arc, which let's address Zhao Mei and the 50 years. Let's go and talk about that. So with our first color page, we get introduced to a character that is seemingly addressing us, because she goes, "Hello, my name is Zhao Mei. Someday you will know more about who I personally am. However, for now, think of this as me, or more as the story's narrator. And last chapter we jumped ahead thousands of years and all that, but don't read too much into it. You see, in this story, time doesn't really mean much." So we jumped around about I think it was like 10,000, 20,000 years in the future. She is apparently going to be narrating us throughout the entire story. Well then, so she is already telling us and all that, saying, don't worry about the timeline, it is going to be completely fucking everywhere. So that is very ballsy to do at the start. I'd like to address the reason why we got the color page as well, as due to the series' popularity. To mention as well the fact that this will be the first chapter that people see in a second volume. What in the actual fuck is going on? Like, I'm generally like, this is an interesting twist that Hero is doing compared to that we've already had time travel before in both of his series, and this one he's just flat out going, just don't even think about the time travel, it's not going to make sense. Like, it's one of those where it's like, just don't look too much into it, but we know already, like, she's walking seemingly in space, or the fact that she's like walking on like a river, and it's like how she's addressing this, where it's like she is either omnipotent or she knows so much about the predestined events that she clearly knows all the events that are going to be happening and what leads up to the 20,000 years. And the fact that we're having a fourth wall break kind of moment, where they're talking about like as the now and all that, think of me as a story's narrator, and it's like she's clearly addressing us, and it was like, I think that's the first time that Hero's actually done a fourth wall break for the most part. Like, apart from like he's done cheeky nods to like Fairy Tail and set like other stuff like that, where it's like, hey, like, you know, like Fairy Tail is apparently like, apart from like some cameos and all that, it sounds like it is a actual manga and even Zero, or so, they're in the same universe. Like, he does stuff like that, but this is the first time he's actually fourth wall broker. So all we know is that that's her name. We know nothing else about her. We know more what exactly more is her goal, what is her relation to like the mother and stuff like that. However, when we get into the chapter, they give us some. They immediately start us off with like this cute little chibi rendition of like what their goal is, and it's like we don't have to go. So pretty much catching anyone up, or if they pick up like this chapter or volume, and it'd be like, hey, this is what basically our story is so far. Now, there was some confusion around Weisz's name. It was like kind of spelt like Grimoire Weisz, where it's like W-E-I-S-S. It's apparently changed to W-E-I-S-Z, so Weisz, like really weird. But it's like when he's confronting and talking about like with Shiki and Rebecca, he is saying like, I have no idea who you guys are, what do you want and all that, you're probably working for Sabir, tell me and all that and all that. If you leave right now, I will let you walk out of here alive and all that. And it's just like, but isn't this Weisz's house? Like, you know, it's like, please tell us what's going on and all that. And like, Shiki starts to get involved, and he's like, wait a minute. He's got the goggles on, and then he starts looking up on there like and saying there's someone upstairs. Now, if we like when we look at this and all that, he's like, I can see someone upstairs. Instead of going for Weisz, like, because this guy just starts blasting down both Weisz, like he and Rebecca, he immediately goes in saying, let's take care of this. Now, this was confusing, and we did see this panel in, like, the spoilers, where it's like, wait, did he attack him, and, like, did Weisz change, like, his weapon or something, because it was a gun? But no, he's attacking the guy up on the, like, rooftop, breaks the floor beneath him, brings him down, and does a magic mech attack, and he calls like, gravity fist, and he just breaks it down, takes this guy down, and this is where we try and get some information, where it's like, this guy, he's like, what the hell is your whole deal? And it's like, when you betray us and all that, Sabir the Mighty will always make them pay. And like, Shigi's reaction to this is like laughing his ass off, where it's like, this guy's a joke, like seriously, like, and all that. It's like, I mean, like, threaten me that, like, that and all that, like, after like all of this, like, you're nothing to me. And it's like, this is then when the chapter where it's like, we're talking about, and it's like, look, here's the information. This is the professor. This is Weisz. Like, this is Weisz. Like, he is the like the old man that we've seen. It's like, this can't be. He acted like, and he kind of looks like him, and it's like, but the one thing and all that, they even suggest as well, so what, did he make an age reversal drug and all that? And it's just like, but it took away his memories, and it's like, oh, what is that? But it's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, what, like, he doesn't, like, that isn't his kind of field of work. Like, they're discussing it, and it's like, it's just something's not right as well. I can't seem to get a connection. Like, something's off with the, like, they're talking as well as like, oh, let's talk about like the shooting Starlight Guild that started bringing out, and it's like, no, that can't be right. That's 50 years ago. Like, what the hell? Like, and then she looks outside and starts and all that, saying like, this can't be right. And she's talking about like, why don't we stay here with the professor and all that? It's like, you can't stay here. The planet is dying. It's too fragile for a home for you folks and all that. You need to go, like, pretty much people don't really stay here, like, kind of last, from what we tell and all that. Like, Noma is like a dead planet. And that's kind of what exactly, like, from what we got to see, like, kind of last chapter, whereas like Noma was a dead planet, and this is what happened 50 years, is that this planet seemingly burnt out for the most part. It did have an underground, mostly part, like, kind of city for it, from what we could see. We're 50 years in the past. Like, this is Norma, like, 50 years ago, and it's like, what happened? Like, since obviously there's that blank out period that we don't know yet, we don't know if they went into, like, some sort of black hole, wormhole, like, if they, something of, like, the engine, like, kind of, like, just went, and somehow that just took us back 50 years. We don't know if this is by some magical MacGuffin. Like, all we know is when they look at the time, they address the time as X442. It's a little weird when, like, Fairy Tail is like 777, like, you know, like, it's kind of like that year base, which makes you think it's like, wait, so it's like Fairy Tail like way later on. It's like, this is really like kind of weird, like, when we're like seeing this, and it's like, why are we 50 years in the on the road? And that explains, this is the young professor, not the old one that we're kind of used to. And then we meet this Sabir guy, who is this big bulk ass motherfucker in like this mech. It's just straight out, it's not a Gundam, which I was like, man, I wanted a Gundam. I'm not gonna lie. There was some like Zaku little drone thing next to him, but I was like, man, give me sick mech designs. That's what I want. I am full into like Kakumeki Valvrave. Give me into like Mobile Suit Gundam. I want Jehuti. Like, if I can see some sick ass like Jehuti Anubis shit from Zone of the Enders, I'm full the fuck in. I love my mech designs, and I'm like, man, this thing looks like kind of like a fucking dork, like, for my part. Like, I don't know, it might just be the weird cone head that it has. I'm like, man, get this fucking, like, get this shit out of here. It's like, this guy can't fight without, like, his mech and all that. It's like, it makes me then wonder, it's like, what are then, like, the mech designs really get, like, 50 years about that? And it's like, so, with the other characters, what is happening in this time and all that, while it's like, how the hell do we get back? Like, because this chapter ends up where it's like, we find out that Weisz stole, or that, like, he took my money and, like, addressing it, where it's like, you need to go and pay that, you're clearly with him, and, like, you know it isn't right to take things, so, and the chapter ends where it's like, I'm never gonna let Sabir have it, where he's like, holding that suitcase. We have seen, with, like, obviously with the chapter and all that, with the cover page, Rebecca's holding this suitcase. So whatever the suitcase is, whether or not it revolves around time travel, whether it is something completely different, there's a lot of, like, just what the hell was this chapter like going on. Like, this is the one where I think, like, a lot of people normally kind of give it like the 3 to 4 chapter, maybe in 6. I've heard some people where it's like, I'm gonna give it 6 chapter. I feel like this could be a make or break chapter for a lot of people, where it's like, fuck that, I'm not, like, time travel, like, I'm out. It's like, personally, I am interested. This chapter, like, I don't think was bad. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was amazing. It was a lot of setup. It was a lot of confusion for me, where it's like, huh, all right. Like, it's a lot of, like, just pondering and, like, where is this gonna go from here? Like, I'm intrigued is the best way to say it. Where it's like, I want to know more about Xiao Mei. I want to know, like, what exactly did Weisz steals from Sabir, like what kind of creation that was, exactly how did they get back at here in the first place, because this is the problem, and it's like, I know that's me thinking way too ahead. I'm a sort of person that is fascinated by time travel. I'm fascinated by, like, what is, like, the concept of destiny. Like, if people have ever seen me just look at my Magi videos, where that's a huge thing, not real time travel, but the concept of destiny and, like, the butterfly effect and, like, all that kind of stuff in there, where it's like, I've done 30-40 minutes video sometimes where it's like, I've just generally talked about theories and interesting stuff about all of these concepts. Now, I don't think Hiromashima's going to be handling that stuff and all that, because the whole thing when it came to Fairy Tail, when it came to talking about time travel, is magical MacGuffin makes us go back in the past. Done. Like, don't, like, the thing is, like, don't over-explain time travel. Some interesting theories can work and all that, but that's the problem, is that if you try to explain too much of time travel, apart from it just fucking works, or you're the Steins Gate scenario, where it's like, it's a whole show about that, where it's like, it always adds different interesting theories and, like, a lot of scientific stuff and all that people have explored on there. So, yeah, don't go deep into it, and I think that was kind of one thing that they did with this chapter, was just like, don't worry about it, it's fine, but know that time travel is going to be involved in some way, considering that we're seeing 20,000 years, we're seeing 50 years, we're seeing the present day, and then we're seeing whatever the hell Xiao Mei is, if she's just like some entity like Mother, or what is going on. But, like, I'm generally interested in this character, where it's like, what is her whole ordeal? She, like, what is with now, like, is there a connection then between Mother? Is that something that Mother can do, where it's like, that maybe, like, no one's ever seen like her before, because maybe she was from a future, right? Like, there's so much shit exploring in my mind, where it's like, is she, like, from the future or something? Is what's going on in the past? What about that sign that said X44? Like, are people already thinking about, wait, is this, like, you know, before fairy, like, yeah, all this stuff. It's like insane kind of, like, meddling around, or it's like, what is going on? And it's like, it's going through the universe and stuff like that, where it's like, I'm just gonna sit down and let, like, a lot of this chapter simmer for me. I think it was a fine chapter. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't blown away by a lot of stuff. It was just more setting a lot more things up, like, kind of like what the last chapter did, where it's like, okay, so we're going to be dealing with Sabir. Next chapter, we're going to be fighting a mech. We'll hopefully get our answers about, like, Weisz, like, what's happening with him. Overall, yeah, like, this chapter was weird. That's the best way to describe it, but there's a lot of news recently, like, with considering that there's the anime visuals, the talking about, like, all the details about that everyone's going to be working on in Season 3. We've got this, we've got 2 chapters, 100-year quest, like, definitely you're going to be seeing a lot of videos coming up soon and all that, talking about that, so we'll be getting this, and then hopefully at some point and all that, we'll be trying to talk about 100-year quests, a little bit of synopsis, and hopefully the chapter comes out soon. But yeah, definitely, I will say, if the fan translation group fail you with, like, trying to get XCL on time, because I know that's what a lot of people are there for, definitely as well, like, get a Crunchyroll subscription, and the quality of the actual chapters and all that are fucking absolutely amazing. Like, they're a really great high quality that they get, and they're even better than, like, the actual, like, stuff I've got from the Shonen magazine, where it's like it's really shitty made paper and everything. So like definitely something and all that. Where it's like, you know, support the official release, and I cannot wait and all that for the first volume to come out around about October time. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's all from me though. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.